Here is a 2024 BMW i7 M60 in black sapphire metallic over mocha extended merino leather. This year we get an M70, which is 1 second faster than this and puts it right on par with vehicles like the Tesla Model S, Audi, and Mercedes-Benz. Is the M60 still a sweet spot considering the performance and the charging? I'm Anthony from Hawkeye Rides. Starting up front, we have the Swarovski crystal headlight assembly, which no vehicle does this. I've said it a lot, especially when I'm comparing it against like an Audi A8 or an S8. I understand that's a trick variant, but what I'm trying to get to is their lights are digital. Swarovski crystals, nobody in any business, whether it's a combustion engine or full EV, does this. A large profile stance, the two-face setup with LED headlights and daytime runnings, large active kidney grille, and the lower grille is also active. There isn't any frunk, which is a con in my book, because when you have such a long hood, imagine how much cargo you could put underneath this. This would outclass every EV if they would just open it up. Dual high performance motors, one here and one in the back to make the all-wheel drive with 536 horsepower, 549 pound-feet of torque. That's 114 horsepower less than the new M70, reaching 60 at 4.5 seconds, the same top speed at 130 miles per hour. Now the range will go to around 307 miles with a level 2 charge at 240 volt. You're getting 11 hours to charge this completely up, and that will achieve 86 mpges for the city and 91 mpges for the highway. BMW also claims you can get 80 miles on a DC quick charge in 10 minutes, which is not too bad. Standard rear axle steering and 2-axle air suspension, so it's going to be a smooth ride with the boost engaged, getting that 0 to 60 at 4.5 seconds. The M70 is going to get it under 4 seconds, which puts it almost on par. It's not going to be Tesla speed, but it's going to be similar to an RS e-tron or the Mercedes-AMG EQE sedan, which will be one of the least priced vehicles in the EV segment. All of them are going to be roughly about the same charging except for the Tesla. We have a staggered setup for the wheels. These are 21-inch 255/40. The rear at 285/35. We also have the automatic doors that will open up for you, which is a nice touch. The long style of the 7 Series, keeping it more traditional. The rear gets a little bit more sleek LED taillights, and the lower will also receive a diffuser with a trunk lid spoiler. Optioning the xDrive 50 will be nearly 2 seconds slower than the new M70. So when you're looking at sweet spot, this will still be that, in the sense of you're getting quick 0 to 60s, quarter miles, and a near 50-50 weight distribution, because this is actually the best at 49.2, 51.8 weight distribution, and with that rear axle steering, pretty much makes it a perfect 50-50. Kick to open or power liftgate that's going to go into 17.6 cubic feet of storage. Some bag holders here in the front with a storage nook. You do receive a pass-through and another area for some bags. Storage underneath the floor that will make up for not having a frunk. It's a wide opening. The bumper will extend out a little bit more so to keep that dynamic style. Way power seat adjustment for the front, heated, ventilated, massage, memory for the front and the rear. Headroom and leg room. The 7 Series is wide, making it electrified. With the M60 is just going to give that performance drive. Ambient lighting that's going to be through the whole dash with the wood inlays, and you get the soft materials, contrast stitching, heads-up display, The mesh inlays for the Bauer & Wilkins upgraded sound system, and for your air vents, you can control them electronically on each side with the one panel curve touch screen navigation, Apple CarPlay, Android Auto, Sirius XM, AM, FM, streaming, Bluetooth, audio, Wi-Fi connections with 5G capabilities. Click onto the seat comfort, and this is where you will get the majority of your seat settings, so you can contour the vehicle to make it a little bit more sport derived for your liking. Throw it into reverse with that 360-degree reverse camera with backup assist, full trajectory for the front and the rear. Click the more and you get the 3D view, which you can use the gesture, you can touch, and you can use the iDrive to go all around it. Click back into the more and you got the car wash view that shows the trajectory for the front. Going into a wireless charging pad, the key fob for the i7. Open that up, and that's your cup holders with ambient lighting, the BMW digital key, glass controls with my modes, which will make it a little bit more athletic, or you can make it a little bit more relaxed. You can also lower or raise the height. The rocker that was implemented with the full redesign, and the ambient lighting that's going to surround everything. Soft everywhere. Opens up, and it is a long storage pocket with two USBs and a 12 volt. M-spec steering wheel, flat bottom with the 12 o'clock. Multi-function with adaptive cruise control, lane keep assist. That's the boost that will engage and make it to the full performance. And for the gauge cluster, we have the AR, which can show the front camera in the gauge cluster. Or you can change it to any different content, turn-by-turn navigation, but me personally, I like the AR the best. You can also do the same thing to the heads-up display to change the full layout for directional view, assist view, sport view, or you could just reduce the view so that way it makes it a little bit more easier for you. And you can also change the layout here so you can see that AR more full or more dynamic. The door panel, because it's automatic, might as well push it, is going to be soft materials everywhere. One touch up and down for all the windows, a smaller storage pocket, and a large pano moonroof that opens from the back forward, auto-dimming rear view mirror. Back seat is where you want to be in this 7 Series. Headroom, not going to be an issue, nor is leg room. Storage behind both of the front seats, air vents with the wood inlays, USB ports, wireless charging pad that opens up into cup holders. This armrest opens up with more USB ports and storage. You can lift this up, which we'll show you why later on. 5.5-inch touch screens on both sides with dual climate control. We do not have ventilated seats, but we have the heated rear seats in this trim. You can open and close the blinds. The seat settings, which you have multiple power seat adjustments for the back, for the headrest, for the middle of the seat, for the bottom, and for the actual in-between, and cushion extensions. Clicking back into my modes. Here we're going to click the relax. It's going to close all of the sunshades around you. Which will reopen all of the sunshades. And you can option a rear entertainment with a 31.5-inch touch screen, which I have a review on. This vehicle does not have it optioned. Clicking back in here, you have for the telephone that's not just for the wireless charger, but for dialing or going through your contacts. Push this button here to automatically open. Soft materials are going to be found everywhere, and the storage pocket is about the same size as the front. Sliding to the center is not going to be as comfortable as the sides. You can put your feet up if you want, but you're going to be sitting like riding a horse, so put them down. You'll be sharing a little bit of feet space, but it's wide. Same thing with butt and shoulder space. You're not really compromising anything. Sitting into the center sits up higher, so headroom is going going to be a little bit less, but it's still doable for somebody over 6 foot. 536 horsepower, 549 pound-feet of torque. I have boost engage. I have it in sport mode. Tires are slick, so we're not going to go crazy, even though the weight distribution is good. Look at this. You get the electric sound that comes in. Normally I would take the turns a little bit quicker, but because of that tire shine, it's just all over these tires. So I'm not gonna go too crazy, but it's still awesome. I mean, a near 6,000 pound vehicle, look what it's doing. It's just amazing, the ability that you get out of this vehicle, considering the size of what it is. Now I had to back up to put it back on the track so we could really see that performance. Here we go. When it says boost, it means that you got it. 4.5, 114 horsepower less than the M60. But better weight distribution, which you saw what it can do. And I understand this is a roundabout, but it's just showing you this is a long vehicle. It's also a very wide vehicle in which you can do performance. Look at this. It's going too fast. It's going to take me to some pros and cons. Starting off with the pros is it gives you that adrenaline that you need. I like the electric noise that comes in. The seats are very comfortable, keeping the 7 Series vibe and yet giving me performance like an M. Now, it's not a true M in the sense of you're getting that combustion engine and the steering's gonna feel some weight to it. It's gonna feel a little bit more artificial. The weight distribution is great because of the length and the width. However, it's not going to have the same dynamic feel as I would say an M4 competition or even an M8 competition. But it feels good for what you're getting. I mean, nearly 3 tons, and the M60 is over 3 tons. So whenever we get our hands on that, I'm gonna be excited to see that performance change, which you're a second faster, nearly 2 seconds faster than the X-Drive 50. Now that is all coming at a higher price, which takes me to a con, because the price that we're at, it's not going to be competitive with Mercedes, nor is it going to be as fast as the RS e-tron. And then the RS e-tron becomes a deal if you're going to the M70. I like this though because it's so family oriented and chauffeur driven. I mean, BMW does pretty much everything for Rolls-Royce, so you're getting that inside the 7 Series here, but you're getting the performance that is unlocked by the BMW team, in which you're not going to be getting that with the Rolls-Royce. It doesn't look old. It keeps a modern tech-driven style. The adaptive cruise control is awesome too. You can go pretty good distance with it. And anytime I want to really give it a go, keep it in sport mode and do your thing. Large wheels, glides over everything, 2-axle air suspension. The rear steering, you're going to see that 5-degree turn radius here in just a second. Going to some other cons is in the cargo, it doesn't fold, you can't fold down the rear bench. And the reason why I say this is a con is because if you're looking at the Tesla Model S, you can do that with that vehicle, in which you can fit a bicycle inside the cabin. You can't do that with the 7 Series. Steering though feels good. I like that we got the 12 o'clock and the flat bottom because it really stresses the performance that you have when you get into the M60. Is it still a sweet spot? I think so. If you're looking to get your hands on an electric variant vehicle, charging time is not going to be the best. It's about the same as everybody else, around 11 hours for a 240 or a level 2 charge. I do like that you can get about 80 miles in 10 minutes with a quick charge. However, there's been a lot of my friends and talks through comments where the charging ports are broken or you don't get those quick charging times because they don't have that power in which kind of isn't good when you're spending this type of money expecting to get a quick charge, and you might have to stop 2 or 3 times in order to do that. For me, it just kind of makes it a huge con or a big problem, because if I'm trying to option this and say I want to go to Miami, I'm near Wesley Chapel right now, I won't be able to do it because I get maybe 307-mile range. That's what the MSRP says on the sticker of this. But if I'm driving performance with the air blowing, using the electronics, I might be lucky to get 280 miles, in which I'm not going to get there. I'd have to stop for at least 30 to 45 minutes to charge the vehicle in order to get to Miami. I can stop at a gas station 5 minutes if I have an M4 competition or an M8 competition, get there a lot faster, and I might not even need to fill. Just something to think about. And I hate to say there's more cons or more problems, because all the variants are getting around 3.1 and 3.2 seconds. Tesla's at 1.99, 0 to 60. So even optioning the M70, I'm sure it's going to be a great performance drive, because BMW does an excellent drive dynamically and for the feel. But that's 3.5 seconds, so still it's going to be the slowest variant and one of the more expensive variants. For technology, I like BMW the best. I would say Mercedes, get that hyper touch screen, it is amazing. This one is just enough, so it's not over the top. Tesla has a few screens, and they have made it longer and wider, and in the rear you get some screens, but I feel like they cleaned it up better in BMW, because you get those 5.5 screens on the door panels, in which you kind of want that, so you don't have to bother somebody if they're sitting into the center. I would option the 31.5-inch widescreen entertainment though. I know it's around $8,000, but it's well worth it. It's the only vehicle that has something that cool for the back seat occupants. Going back to some pros, the back seat, very chauffeur driven. It feels like a Rolls-Royce. They did an excellent job capturing that power seat adjustment and optioning that rear entertainment. You could split the screen so it's taken care of for that long journey, and you can untap the performance just by a simple tap of that electric pedal like this. And even though it's wide and long, you can maneuver in and out. So navigating through rural or going on highways, you're not going to have an issue. Put it back into sport mode, it's going to contour to your seat. Another con though is a lot of your seat settings are in the infotainment screen, in which you have to take your eyes off the road to see what you're doing in order to adjust your seat. Rear axle steering now at its best. Look at this. Barely 2 lanes. Performance, I like the Audi RS e-tron. It's a great variant also, because you're getting a Porsche for a fraction of the price. In the Benz, it's hard to say it's not a good deal. Let me know what you think in the comments. And if you're new to the channel, consider subscribing. Check out the next video, merchandise, website, and Instagram. Leave a comment and a like, and I'd like to thank BMW of Wesley Chapel for giving us this 2024 BMW i7 M60 for our car review.